Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici. Welcome my friends and welcome to my channel, Fountain Pen Therapy. Today, it's a beautiful day out there in Montreal, Canada. Spring is around the corner and I figured I'd take out some colors and do some swatching. So what I'm proposing for you is another ink manufacturer from Korea by the name of Dominant Industry. I've recently purchased 9 inks. And what I propose is that I review those 9, do some swatching, give you my impressions, and ink therapy. What can I say? Stay tuned. Okay, now we're back and we're all set up for the swatching. First of all my inks are here. I'm using a Tomo River ink journal that's specifically for swatching my inks, good impressions. I will leave the links, relative links, in my description below. In terms of my tools, just two little bottles of water to wash up. I have my folded brass pen that I purchased at Toronto Pen Company. Again, I will leave the link in the description below that I use for my swatching and for the transcription or the writing of the name of the brand and the name of the ink. I use this little glass pen, which I think I bought for like $12 on Etsy. It gives me a little more comfort than the standard glass pens that have, are more elaborate and I just can't get a hold of them. So this is the pen that I use, the glass pen that I use for transcribing. I also keep a blotter not too far away because sometimes the inks take a little time to dry up, and this helps me dry it up quickly with a dirty cloth. So we're all set. Okay, so the first one is an ink by the name of Lake, and we'll take a look at just to see what this gives. Okay, so the first one, I see. It's a nice light blue. I'll put that in the water. Let's dip my glass pen. So this is an ink by the name of Earl Grey Tea. Huh, interesting name. Go, so it's an orangey based color. Okay, here we go. This one is by the name of Forest. Well, if it's Forest, I'm expecting it to be some base of green, I guess. Sometimes they surprise you with the names. Yeah, that's definitely Forest. Out. See, the beauty of these folded pens is that they wash up really quickly, whereas a paintbrush, well, you got to insist and make sure that all the brushes are cleaned out. Yeah, the Q-tip is also a good solution, just because you use it and then you dispose of it, but you're throwing away Q-tips, and well, there's a little bit of an expense there. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but if you do a lot of swatching and often, it gets to be, unnecessary, I think. And this folded pen, you make the purchase once and you're all set. Okay, so let's see what this is what this gives. Oh, that's a nice bright red, and it's so we'll wash that out, and eventually, you know, you use a second, even 2 or 3 jars if you got them, because the ink does have a tendency, the water does have a tendency to get, you know, quite dirty. And worst comes to worst, you stop and you just switch the water, and not a big deal. Okay, so the 5th ink is Winter Wood. Oh, let's see what this is all about. Interesting name. So, whoop. Let me just make sure I take that out. Winter Wood. Could be a grayish or brown, or maybe even black. We'll see, or maybe brown. Yeah, it's on the brown side. Maybe take a few seconds now while this thing is drying up. And I think you missed completely Winter Wood. Did you not? Yes, you did. I apologize for that. I should have just checked out my camera, but I'm not going to redo the video because of it. There it is, Winter Wood. Okay, just interesting colors. Not a lot of sheening, I must admit, but there is some slight shading. I mean, I can see some shading appearing here, where the light blue's got some tints of red in it, but I got to tell you, not much. The same thing goes for this orange. It's a bright orange, but pretty straightforward, I would say. Even in the handwriting, I don't see any significant shading there. There may be some red that will eventually pop out of this forest. We'll see once it all dries up. I can start to see some red shading there. I love this Romania Red. It does have a tendency to, when you write, you'll have the lighter red and the darker red, so it gives you kind of a contour. It may not be as clear when you look at it from the camera, but at live, you can definitely see that here you go, you see the handwriting is starting to develop darker contours. So that could be a very, very interesting ink there. We'll see what it gives. As to the Winter Wood below, it's kind of a dark brown. I don't see any significant shading there. So what I propose is I will let the camera, or we'll let the in nature do its work, and we'll be right back once the inks are all nice and dry. Okay, so we're back, and yeah, as predicted, my the forest does have a nice reddish contour, not as much on the lake, and the Romania Red will have this darker contoured effect. The dominant industry Winter Wood, I can see definitely two shades, one of dark, almost on the black, and the other one is darker brown. So that could also give you some contours when especially if you use a stub. Use a stub, folks. Forget about fine. They're boring. Okay, so let's go to the next page. We've done 5, and we've got 4 more to go here. So let's see what these other 4 have in store for us. So this one here is going to be dominant blue. So let's see how dominant it is. Okay, just remove the little cap. Oh yeah, oh yeah. That's a nice dark blue. Very nice. that could be a very interesting everyday ink, if you will. Yeah, definitely. I think I could appreciate this one. The next ink is the leaf green. So again, self-explanatory. We should have some variation of the green color. You know, it's always difficult to find. I find a really nice green ink, you know, and Irish, I think it's Irish green from Mont Blanc is one of my favorites, just because it's just a pure green, you know. Yeah, this is leafish because it does have a lighter and darker shading to it. For our next two inks. Okay, this one, sorry, this one's going to be base black. So again, self-explanatory. I think we're going to get a very dark, dark gray, or maybe just black. That's another thing, you know, people say, well, black is black. Not really. You see, in the water, I can tell you that it's got a purplish tint to it. So I would not be surprised that when writing, very nice consistency. Not too many surprises. I don't see any major sheen here or, you know, extraordinary effects. Pretty straightforward inks, but nice. I like their bottles. Got to be careful because they have a tendency to maybe to flip over, but so far no big surprises. This dominant blue, though, it looks like more and more like a real winner in terms of you know, giving you a little more variety or a little more excitement, as they say, as far as excitement you can have in an ink. Okay, here we go. I mean, I get excited over anything, so well, here's the, okay, that's a light. It's a lighter, what are we dealing with here? Oh, Manschurian Violet, so. So as I said, this dominant blue looks like it's going to give us some excitement. Yeah, definitely. Like you can tell just even when you write, that reddish tone comes right out. It just jumps at you. So that's a very interesting ink. Keep that one in mind. The leaf green is pretty straightforward. There may be some darker shading in some areas. This base black, let me tell you, I think it's got some potential. I can see some gold relief there popping out. So when we let it dry, I'm sure it's going to give us a little bit of a surprise. I would not be surprised if they give me a surprise. Dominant industry, a little bit of reddish relief there. It's probably going to pop out in just a few minutes once we take the time to get it dry. So what we'll do is we'll let nature take its course, and we'll be right back and just give you my overall impressions. Okay, I think we've allowed some good drying time. So just to backtrack a little bit, now that they're even drier, I can definitely see some sheen here, some red popping out even in the handwriting. You know, you can get some variation also in this orange, surprisingly enough. Very little red here, but just a little sparkle. I love this Romania Red. It does give you that double-edged color. The Winter Wood is an interesting brown because it does have, again, some red some red tints to it. The dominant blue, as I predicted, is going to be a fun ink, I think. The leaf green is pretty straightforward. I also like this base black. If you need a black with a little brown gold tone in it, that's the one. Okay, and this Manschurian Violet is also very straightforward. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed. Enjoyed doing this with me. Have some fun with the inks. As compared to pens, you can purchase them relatively cheap, and you can experiment with them and put them in your pens, rotate those pens, ink them up, use them, and have fun with them. So thank you very much. Please subscribe. If you have any comments, they're more than welcome, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.